So I had a question from one of the students in this course. They had worked really hard on this nice story based in homework number 3 where you're doing some interactive stories. And this was a story based on if you give a mouse a cookie. And so it says if you give the mouse a cookie, what's your name? So I'll say Ben. What kind of animal do you want to use? I'll say dog, right? What are you giving your animal? I'll say a cup of coffee, right? And it goes on. And they want to tell the story if you give a dog a coffee. And they wanted to have at some point in here that this mouse would change away from a mouse to a dog. And there's actually a dog here that's telling this story. And it wasn't working, no matter what happens. So once he has a coffee, he's going to want a scone, right? And so if you give a dog a coffee, he's going to want a scone. But it's a mouse the whole time, and this person was really confused. Why is it a mouse the whole time? And there's a couple of things that's going on here. And it seems like it's doing all the right things, right? We asked what animal do you want, set the animal to the answer, so we've stored dog or cat or dinosaur or whatever, and it's just not working. And so as I was playing around with this, I came down to this block of code right here that says, hey, when I receive the command it's finally time to customize this program. Say if the animal's a dog, then switch to the dog costume, and if the animal's a frog, switch to the frog costume and things. And this person says, look, why doesn't this work? If the animal's a dog, and I said a dog, why didn't it change to the dog? Why did it stay a mouse? And the problem is really very subtle here. The issue is we're actually, if you look at what's being asked here, this question is asking if what is stored in variable animal is equal to what is stored in variable dog. And if I come over to the data, you'll see that this person has an animal variable, but they made butterfly and cat and dinosaur and dog and frog variables to represent all of the possibilities. And so what they're saying is if what's stored in animal is equal to what's stored in dog. Well, if you look at this, actually, this is something I hadn't shown you earlier in videos. If I click on this animal peg right here, it'll tell me what's in that right now, and it's the word dog. Remember, I also can do this by turning it on. The animal's a dog right now. But if I come down and say, so it said, okay, animal's dog. What happens if animal equals dog? Well, look at this. What's stored in the dog variable is actually the number 0. And so what this question says is, if what's stored in animal, the word dog, is equal to what's stored in the variable dog, the number 0, then switch the costume. But of course, the word dog doesn't equal the word 0, so this doesn't happen properly. So we have a couple ways to fix this. One way would be that you could come in and you could leave it the way it's written, and you could say, well, let's set the variable dog, right, to equal the word dog. And so if I click that now and we actually run that, oops, I have to do that from here, don't I? Sorry. So if I set dog to equal dog, now notice that dog equals dog, and so it could work okay. But that's actually not what I want. The better way to do this is to just say this. If animal equals dog, right, we're comparing what the text that the person put into the animal variable to this text. Did it equal dog? Did it equal frog? Did it equal dinosaur? And so on. Right? And that's much easier to work with. And it's the way we probably should do this, right? We're saying is, did the piece of text that they gave me and I stored here equal this piece of text? Okay, so that's the first thing. That was the answer to the question that this person was asking me, and now it will all run properly. I'm going to point out one more thing that I pointed out in another video here in this Unit 6 on helpful hints, and that's the idea that whenever you see this kind of code, whenever you see the duplication of something over and over and over again, if animal equals dog, change to dog, if animal equals frog, change to frog, and so on, you want to ask yourself, is there a way for me to streamline this and not have so much duplicate or repeated code? Sometimes the answer is no, there's not a better way to do this. But it turns out here there is if we use naming properly. And again, I showed this in a different video, but I'm going to show it again here. I'm going to go into costumes, and I'm going to take those 5 things, right? Butterfly, cat, dog, frog, and dinosaur. And these all have some numbers with them. I want to get rid of those numbers. And so I'm going to change this, the name of this costume, to be only butterfly. Right? Okay, so now it's only butterfly. I'm going to come into this cat costume, and I'm going to change it to cat, And I still have not figured out why Scratch is working this way, but it appears I have to click on it twice and hit enter a couple of times. It doesn't always take. There it changed to cat. I'm going to change this from dog to dog. There it changed. And frog already says just frog. And dinosaur, we're going to change to just dinosaur. And the advantage of this now is somebody's going to type in just the word dinosaur or just the word frog or just the word butterfly. And so now what I can do in this exact same block of code is simply do the following. I'm going to pull this apart temporarily, pull this off. I simply want to say whatever they gave me in the animal variable, whether it's dog, frog, dinosaur, cat, butterfly, I expect this variable animal to contain dog, frog, dinosaur, cat, butterfly. I want to switch to the costume with that exact name. And now I don't need to have any of these if statements. I simply say switch the costume to that animal. Now, of course, if they told me instead dinosaur and they misspelled dinosaur, or if they told me, bird, which isn't one of my costumes, then we might not get good results. But the situation was we weren't going to get good results to begin with because animal over here, none of the animal wasn't going to equal a misspelled dinosaur or a bird. So I can get rid of all that, streamline this a lot more. So now we go back to the very beginning. Let's give the mouse a cookie. What's my name? I want to work with a cat. I'm going to give the cat a coffee. I'm going to wait till it moves to the next screen. Takes a little bit here to wait. That's all right. If you give a cat a coffee, he's going to want something else. What's he going to want? He's going to want a scone. And so now we're going to move to the next page. And now we start our story. And notice that now he did customize. He did go to the kitchen and turn to the cat. Wonderful. So that's the way that we can fix the problem and also streamline this so we don't have nearly as much work to do to make it work for us.